An important question to ask when one is deciding to pick up roots and live in a foreign country like Thailand is how much is it going to cost me to live there? If you do a Google search on cost of living in Thailand or the average spending of a foreigner here, you'll get lots of advice. But we're not going to add to that list. Break down our expenses into a number of categories: housing, food, clothing. They're our own estimates. They're not averages, and they're not going to be exactly what you'll spend. Let's break the housing category down a bit. First, do you want to rent or do you want to buy? Second, do you want to live in a house, a condo, or a service apartment? These will determine your expenses. We decided to live in a gated community. Video on why, and I'll put the link in the discussions. We own our house because my wife is a Thai national. It's a rather large house. It's 4 bedrooms and 4 baths. It's on 300 Talangwa of land. That's about 1/3 of an acre, so we have a little bit of a garden there. Lately, we've been having discussions about downsizing, and that will change the amount of money we'll be spending per month. If we were renting this house, the rent would be about 30,000 baht per month in Chiang Mai. In Bangkok, double or triple that. Our estimated costs include maintenance, taxes, and gated community fees. Of the 5 basic needs, shelter, food, water, clothing, and sleep, shelter. We'll talk about food now and clothing in a little while. I do talk about sleep in another video called Power Napping. Some people also add healthcare to this list, and we'll talk about that later in this video. We're lucky to live in Thailand, which has some of the best food and most affordable in the world, but we still have to budget for it. Our food costs can be broken down into 2 categories: groceries and eating out. If you're a cook, and I'm learning to be, and you mostly eat at home, like we do, then your food costs will be kept under control. For groceries, you have a couple of choices. You could buy at the Thai fresh markets or at the supermarkets. Supermarkets will be a little more expensive, but they'll have some foreign foods that you may want. Eating out, you have a lot of choices. You have street food, where a meal could cost you 35 baht, 40 baht. You could go to a food court where a meal might cost 100 baht. Or you could go to one of the fancy restaurants here in Thailand. Some that, for wine and a meal, might cost my whole Social Security check. That's all up to you. Here's my clothing situation in Thailand. I haven't worn a pair of pants with a belt in 15 years. Also, that was the last time I even owned a pair of leather shoes. 75% of the time I wear shorts. 20% of the time I wear 3/4 length pants or fisherman's pants. And when I go to immigration or the doctors, I wear long pants, but no belt. The problem with clothes in Thailand is that large foreigners have a getting the sizes they need and may have to pay a bit more. But still, it's the tropics, and our clothing budget is minimal. Many choices here. You can buy a car, new or used. You can buy a motorcycle, new or used. Bicycling is wonderful, but in Thailand quite dangerous. Or you can use a car service like Grab. Download the Grab app to your phone. I'll put a link in the description. Used. So the used car and motorcycle market is quite reasonable. We bought a repossessed car 14 years ago, and it has been perfect, knock on wood, since then. Remember, Thailand drives on the left. I use the mantra left, left, left when I first start to drive here, and right, right, right when I return to the States. If you drive a motorcycle as I do on a daily basis, wear a helmet and drive as if there's a conspiracy where everyone on the street is trying to kill you, and go slow and unencumbered by alcohol or drugs. At certain times of the evening, everyone else on the road may well be encumbered. Every year on my birthday, we go down to the hospital and get a total health checkup. The cost is less than 4,000 baht each. We both need daily medications, and every once in a while we see a doctor for ticky-tack needs. All in all, we eat well, exercise enough to keep our minds and bodies well tuned. But one thing we do is keep an emergency fund and a health savings account just in case. We pretend that the money doesn't exist. Until we need it, that is. How much do we have in there? Here's what we do. We find out the cost of something big, like what one day we might have to deal with. Let's say a heart bypass. We put that much into our health savings account, one for each of us, and we never touch it. Whether you rent or own, in a condo or a house, you're going to need to budget for regular home upkeep. There's electricity, water, and cooking gas. You may have to budget for a gardener. We have one a few days a week. A housekeeper. We have one who comes in on Sunday. And maybe a cook. Well, that's me, and I cook for gratis. Other costs include the internet and cell phone service. We watch free Thai TV, or at least my wife does, and I have a semi-legal way of getting Western TV and sports. For entertainment, well, we've been married for 52 years, so our entertainment is usually hanging out at home. And I use a visa service once a year because time is worth more to me now than money. We don't use alcohol, cigarettes, or marijuana. If you imbibe, then you'll need to add these to your budget. Our estimated monthly expenses come to a little less than our Social Security check. I'm hoping that as long as Thailand doesn't tax this, we'll be okay. Use our outline here and plug in your estimates, and we're hoping that all will work out for you. Thanks for watching.